Wondering, have there been further discussions pertaining to gambling? And with that said, what sort of feedback have you gotten concerning the removal of the requirement of injury reports on a weekly basis during ACC contests?
We've had a number of discussions about gambling and where that's headed and what that means for us. The biggest thing we're trying to do as a league, and I think this is flowing well, is getting educated about what legalized gambling means or could mean in terms of college athletics and our world. And the approach that we're taking, and seemingly most of our colleagues are taking a similar approach, as is the NCAA, is to not jump into this too quickly until we really understand it and see where it's totally going to land. We haven't had any states as yet in our footprint legalize gambling. Doesn't mean they won't, and I would fully expect that some of those states will. There's also a hope that Congress may, for those states who do choose to legalize gambling, that Congress brings some consistency in terms of how that's done in those states, so that, for instance, in our league, we have schools in 10 states. We could have 10 different set of processes and regulations and requirements to deal with. We'd much rather have one. Obviously, Congress is not going to step in and tell the states they can't legalize it. Congress, I think, could exempt amateur sports or collegiate athletics or high school athletics. I don't know whether that will happen or not. Candidly, that would be my first choice, but I don't necessarily expect that to happen, but it could happen. So there's a lot of clarity that will need to be brought to this, and we're going to need to continue to understand what it can mean to us and what we as a conference, what our institutions at the campus level would need to do in terms of educating our players, what it would mean in terms of the people around our players. Does it create an environment where young people thinks, well, it's legal, therefore it's okay, there's nothing wrong with this? And then does that make it easier to infiltrate into affecting the outcome of games? And college athletics has been there before, a long, long time ago. And we certainly don't want to be back there again. But if it's, it's going on anyway. We get that. It's happening. It's happening illegally. What does legalizing it mean? So we're laying the groundwork on that. We brought in some legal advisors that have been prominently involved with Europe and the Premier League in Europe and legalized gambling there. And so that's what we're in the process of doing now. They've been very helpful too, very insightful. And I think you asked about the injury reports. Yeah, we were the only one doing that, and it was kind of a gentleman's agreement. We did. Our coaches decided they'd rather not do it this year. As all of this started playing out, I think there will need to. I think we need that going forward. It's not just an injury. It could be, I guess you'd call it player availability, because you can have suspensions or other situations that can come up where a player might not be playing. And in the legalized gambling world, I think that needs to be there.